Hello, this is William and this is No Limit Games and this is Battle of Souls. So, on the 27th of this month we are going to be launching a crowd sale on the Game Crafter for Battle of Souls. So I want to go and put a video together here so we can tell you how to play Battle of Souls and introduce the game to you. Okay? So Battle of Souls is a new type of card battle game, kind of like playing Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, something like that. But the biggest difference between us and our competitors, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, and so forth, is the fact that we are not necessarily a trading card game. It would be more in the lines of a collectible card game or extensible card game, something like that. Okay, the way that our game works is that there is no starter decks, there is no booster packs. Instead, what you see right here is a set box. Now this set box is going to be what's going to be on sale for the sale price, I believe, is $19.99. Our regular price is $24.99. This one box has this is a samurai box. It has 115 cards inside this box, which means basically it has a copy of every single samurai card that we have in our entire game, all located in one box, which means that two boxes will have the exact same cards. Why does that matter? Simple. Because of the fact that each box contains the same contents and the same cards, there is no hunting around for that one rare card, because we have no rare cards. We have no super rare cards. We have no cards or no boxes where there's only one card and there's one box, but there's not any other boxes. Everybody has an equal balance when it comes to building their decks, because they buy the box, they all have the same cards. So our game is more based on your deck building skills as opposed to how much money you can pour down the drain to buy booster pack after booster pack after starter deck after structure deck after booster pack after single cards and so forth and so on. So you won't have this instance where you got a guy's like, yeah, you know, I got this deck. It cost me $850 to build this deck. And then you're trying to play them with the little $10 starter deck that you just bought. There's no chance that you would beat him unless he lets you. This one, if I get this box, you get this box, we both have the same cards to work with. It's an equal playing field, no matter if you're a new player or a veteran player. If you know how to build a deck, you know how to put cards together that will synergize with each other in order to complement each of their effects in order to get the best combo out there, then you have a better chance of winning. But it makes it so that if you are a new player and you've never played the game before, once you learn how to play it, all you got to do is learn how to build a good deck, and then you're good to go. And it doesn't matter about how much money you pour down the drain, because that's not going to be a point. You buy a set, has every single card for that warrior group inside the set. So for sale on this crowd sale, we're going to have our samurai set, and we're going to have our Viking set. As well, we're going to also have a deluxe set, which includes both samurai and Viking, and has about 231, something like that, cards. So it's a huge thing, which means you can actually build probably about 4, maybe 5 40 card decks and play with that one box. With this box right here, you can probably build about 2 decks, 2 40 card minimum decks, and still have cards level for side decks. So that means that one box, 2 players. Pretty good, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into what is inside this box. So this is our box. On the back, it actually has a list of how many of different types of cards you're going to have. The gameplay is usually about 15 to about 60 minutes, depending on the people playing. So when we open this up, first thing you're going to have is you're going to have the rule book. Now the rule book, which in this case is actually a piece of paper, is 2 pages. This is the most simplified rules that we have. I wanted to make them really easy to get into. You can read this front and back, and you're good to go. We do have a full rules with all the pictures and stuff like that we'll have on our website, which is soulsbattle.com. Hashtag soulsbattle. Hate hashtag. So this is our rules. You're gonna find that in the box. Now in the box itself, you're also gonna have each one of the different cards. You're gonna have two basic sets of cards. Not really 2 sets, but this is all of the samurai cards. Now each one. So these are the different cards. These are the type of cards you're going to have on here. Each one also, if it's a warrior or elite warrior, warlord, legendary warrior, it's going to have their power and so forth there. It's going to tell you what kind of card it is. And it's slightly different design than you have your battlefield cards, your tactics, and so forth like that too. In this set, in this box, you're also going to have this one card. This is an extra card we add in here. This black card is a suggested deck build. I'm going to bring this closer to the camera so you can see it. So this suggested deck build gives you a list of potential cards you could put into a starter deck that is 40 cards and will get you started playing the game. That way, that gives you a good starting point, and then you can build from there. You can get an idea of how many cards of each type you should have into your deck. So we're going to have this in here. This is for the samurai one. For the Viking one, we have one there, and then for our deluxe one, I think we have about 3, maybe 4 of them that has a samurai deck, a Viking deck, and a mixed samurai Viking deck as well too. Because yes, you can mix warrior groups. You can create whatever card deck you choose to with whatever combination of words that you want from whatever is available. Right now we have only Viking and Samurai, but as things progress and the game keeps picking up and we start making more money off the game, then we will be branching out into bring out other decks. Our next set is going to be Aztec, and then from there we're going to go Roman gladiators, we'll have Roman soldiers, we're going to have Spartans, and the list is going to go on and on and on. So there's a lot of different cards, different groups of warriors that we're going to bring out there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the game. So the first thing you want to do is, once you get the game, you want to go ahead and open it up. If you want to go ahead and take a look at the suggested deck build, that is cool. And you're going to spread your cards out and kind of figure out what cards is which. It has the name of the cards on there, so they're pretty easy to figure out what they are. So let's go ahead and build a quick deck, and then we'll go into a little gameplay, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and use our deck build for this one. Alright. So what we're going to do, let's see. Now these are kind of randomized in a different order. They're not in any particular order, so you might want to change them or put them into the different categories of what they are. Okay, so we got everything separated. We have a legendary warrior, or equipment, or warrior, or warlords, elite warriors, battlefield cards, and then our tactics, and then here goes our suggested deck build. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the suggested deck build and put together a deck. So we have our deck. This is 40 cards. Okay, we'll go ahead and shuffle it. Okay, so to start the game, each player starts off with 8,000 soul points. And your soul points is your life points. Okay, so you're going to start off with 8,000 soul points. The goal of the game, in order to win the game, you have to be the first player to get to 16,000 soul points. This is done by doing damage to your opponent. For every point of damage that you do to your opponent, you gain that much life. So if I do 1,000 damage to my opponent, then he loses 1,000 and I gain 1,000. So it creates like a little seesaw battle going back and forth where it can go one way and then completely change and go the other way. Okay, really fast. So each player starts off with 8,000 points, which is their soul points, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to draw 5 cards. Okay, now we do have a mulligan in play in our game. Now with the mulligan, if you have less than 2 of these guys, this right here is your regular warrior. If you have less than 2 of these in your hand, on your starting hand, that's a mulligan, which means you can go and shuffle it back into your deck, draw 5 more cards. You can only do that twice. If your opponent has a mulligan and you don't have a mulligan, but you don't really like your hand, you can use their mulligan and shuffle your hand back and get 5 cards. But that still counts as using one of your mulligans up, so use them sparingly. Okay, now once your hands are satisfactory, then we start the game. So the first player to go will go ahead and draw a card. We did keep that rule in play. I know a lot of games they took that rule out, but we decided to maintain that rule. Okay, so you're going to draw your cards. So you draw your first card, and then you're going to play your warrior. Now your warriors do not require anything to be played out before they come out. So you can put out 1 fighter per turn, whether it be warrior, elite warrior, warlord, or legendary warrior. You can only no more summon 1 per turn. However, there are instances where you can specially deploy another warrior. We call it deploy instead of summon. So let's say going to I have Kenshin Joe. So I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy Kenshin. And I'm going to play out a battlefield card. So my battlefield cards, only one battlefield card can be in play on the field at any time, no matter how many players there are. So if I have a battlefield card out and my opponent puts one out, then mine gets destroyed and the new one stays in place. We wanted to do that rule. It's kind of like a field place card, but better because it's not two at the same time, just one. We want to keep that rule in play. So I'm going to play my battlefield card where it will say that during your ready phase, the turn player can pay 1,000 soul points to search their deck for a warrior or elite warrior and add it to the hand. Now, when it says the turn player, that means that me or my opponent can both utilize the effects of this card. Here goes the thing though. By paying 1,000 soul points to activate the effect, you're also in turn giving 1,000 soul points to your opponent. Any soul points that you pay for an effect to fire, those soul points that you pay go to your opponent as well. Now in a multiplayer game, if you're playing like 4 people, that 1,000 points that I just spent, all 3 of the people I'm playing against all gain 1,000 points. See how that works, okay? So I'm going to do that for you, and I have this right here. And then I have some other cards I haven't played are in my hand, but I'm not going to play them yet. So then you finish your turn and you draw your card. Now, the only time you cannot attack when you first put a player out is when the very first part of the game. So let's say if there's 3 people playing, the last person to draw their first card is the first person who can attack. I'm going to say that again. If the first person goes, let's say a 3-player game, player 1 goes, he play a warrior out, he cannot attack. Player 2 goes, he plays a warrior out, he cannot attack. Player 3, the last player in the group, goes, he puts a warrior out, he can attack. He's the first one who can actually attack, okay? And after that, if you play a warrior out, elite warrior, warlord, legendary warrior, they can attack that same turn unless there's another card in play that says they cannot. Now, so on my next turn, let's I go ahead and pick up another card. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in my hand, so I'm going to draw 1 to go to 5. However, if I have 3 cards in my hand, then I'm going to draw up 2 or half 5. So at the beginning of each turn, you're always going to start off with a minimum of 5 cards in your hand. Now, some people might think, but that'd be stupid because one of you deck out. Well, in most cases, in usual cases, yes, that's true. However, in our game, we have a different deck out clause. So let's say that this was my last card. Okay, and I had, say, 2 cards in my hand, everything was my discard, and I got to draw 2 cards. Okay, I only could draw 1. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my graveyard, and I'm going to shuffle it, and it becomes my deck. Next thing is, whatever I have in my hand, they get discarded. I lose them. And then I draw 3 cards. And I start my turn. So now I start my turn. I draw 2 cards, get back up to 5 cards, and I continue going. Oh shit! I just dropped the card. And I continue going. Okay, and that's how we have it here. So there is not really a deck out in this play. This means you're not going to be building. You're not going to. Well, you can still build up a deck to drain through somebody's deck, because that way it burns out their good cards that they might want to get and get them into the graveyard, prolonging when they actually can get those cards out and play, right? So, going further with that. Anyway, aside from that, so during the game, when you play, during your ready phase, if you have a card like this where it has something you played in your ready phase, like I said, then that's when you play. Now, your ready phase means that it is after your draw phase, but before you play anything else. So it goes draw phase, ready phase, main phase 1, battle phase, main phase 2, and then end phase. Pretty typical. So during my ready phase, if I want to activate this effect, I activate the effect, use this effect, go and get it, and then I go into my main phase and I continue going. The max number of cards you have in hand is 7. If you have 3 cards in your hand, like I said, you draw 2 to get to 5. If you have 4 cards, you just draw 1. If you already have 5 cards, then you just draw 1. 6 cards, you draw 1. 7 cards, you draw 1. At the end of your turn, if you have 7 cards in your hand, you're fine. If you have anything over 7, you need to discard down to 7 cards. Okay, so max hand size is 7 cards. Now, when your opponent, or when you attack, let's say you have your warrior, and you're probably wondering, how do you go to the higher warrior? So I'm going to show you. when your warrior is out in the field and it attacks another warrior, if it wins, first of all, if it attacks, it goes into rest position afterwards. Okay? You can only go into rest position if your warrior has attacked. Now, on your warrior, if you look, right there in the red, that's your attack, and right there in the blue, that's your rest, like a defense. So when you are in rest position and another warrior is attacking you, then it is that warrior's attack versus your warrior's rest position. If it is higher than your rest position number, then it kills your warrior. If it is equal or lower, it doesn't do anything, it bumps hit. In fact, actually, if it's lower, then the attacker actually loses some health, some soul points, which just goes to you, but his warrior, nobody dies. So in order to kill a fighter that is in rest position, it has to be with an attack that is higher than his rest, okay? If a fighter is in attack position, then it's attack value versus attack value, which is pretty standard. So highest attack wins, and whatever is left over, it carries over to the other person, and they lose that much life points as well too. All right? So it's like having trap so it does actually stop it. Now, when your warrior kills another warrior in battle, I don't have my dice, but when your warrior kills another warrior in battle, you get a kill counter. Now, when you have 3 kill counters, then you can sacrifice that warrior during your main phase 1 and main phase 2 if you haven't played a warrior already, and you put out an elite warrior. The elite warrior is going to have a little bit different look to it. So let's look at it again. Here goes the warrior. You see the icon. All of the warriors have the exact same picture. There are no individual pictures on this one. And then here goes your elite warrior. Slightly different look. Even the card style is a little bit different as well too. Now, when your elite warrior has 5 counters, which means it has 5 kills, then you can sacrifice the elite warrior for a warlord. And a warlord, different colored card, a little bit more vicious looking, and it has a different picture on it. And that's your warlord. The effect is going to be a lot more stronger too. For your legendary warrior, now the legendary warrior is the highest ranked warrior that you can get in the game. So in order for the legendary warrior to come out, you have a condition that you be met first. 2 conditions. First condition, you have to have a warrior, an elite warrior, and a warlord on your field. Okay, that's the first condition. Second condition, the warlord has to have 7. That's right, 7 kill counters. Which means it had to have been beating people down 7 times, kill 7 times. Once you have those 2 conditions met, then you can go ahead and sacrifice all 3. And then that allows you to put out the mighty legendary warrior. Legendary warrior looks pretty cool. He's much stronger. His effect is intense. I am not going to lie, the legendary warriors are overpowered, but they are not easy to get to in a normal game. Now, however, I say a normal because there are shortcuts to get to a legendary warrior if you can find them. And some of those shortcuts we have actually put videos on our YouTube channel, so you can see them there. Okay, so once your legendary warrior is out, it doesn't mean that you're going to win the game, because legendary warrior can still be killed with the night combination of cards from the lower warriors. But your legendary warrior is your highest one. He doesn't even receive any kill counters because there's nothing further to go up from there. Okay, now tactic cards. Tactic cards play kind of like instant cards in Magic the Gathering. So with tactic cards, you can play them from your hand at any time. During your turn, during your opponent's turn, it doesn't matter as long as the effect is valid. Okay, equipment cards. Equipment cards are going to look like this one. This is all samurai deck. The Viking deck is going to have a different picture. But the equipment card is going to look like this. It's going to have the equipment logo right here. It's going to say equipment right here. These cards can only be played on your turn. Some of the equipment cards are continuous and they'll stay on the card, which means that once you put it on the field, it stays on the field until it gets destroyed or until the effect that it has is no longer valid, and then it goes away. But equipment cards can only be played during your turn, either on main phase 1 or main phase 2, never during your battle phase and never during your opponent's turn. And the last one is battlefield cards. Now the battlefield cards, I'm going to show you this one in a little bit different light, because the battlefield cards is probably the one card where we have multiple pictures for the same type of card. So with the battlefield, we wanted to at least make one card that looked really pretty. So we made the battlefield cards be that one card. So this is 2 of them right there. Let me get 2 other ones. We do have some of the Battlefield cards which are like this one that all have the same image, but the rest of them have different images too though. So we have, I think you have about 4, maybe 5 Battlefield cards inside your deck, inside your game. So each of the Battlefield cards, if you look at them, they have a different image, just slightly. And then you have some that are like these. These are what we call our EX cards, the extra cards, like extra set cards. Okay, now your Battlefield cards, like I mentioned before, only one Battlefield can exist on the field at any time. If another person puts a Battlefield out, then your Battlefield that you had in play gets destroyed. Okay? The last thing we'll go into is some of the rulings. So, the card rules as far as the duplicates are concerned, you can have 4 copies of every card in your deck, except for Legendary Warriors. With Legendary Warriors, you're going to have 3 Legendary Warriors in your deck. Whether they are the same or different, it doesn't matter. A maximum of 3 Legendary Warriors. Now, usually you're not going to really put more than 1 anyway, but that is the rule right there. Everything else can have 4 copies of it. So, in these boxes, there are 2 copies of every single card, with the exception of the Battlefield cards and Legendary Warriors. Of those, we only have 1 copy of each. So 1 copy of each of the Legendary Warriors, 1 copy of each of the Battlefield cards, because there's so many of them. Now, of course, if you buy 2 decks, well, now you have 4 copies of every card and 2 copies of every Battlefield and Legendary Warriors, so you have enough to make a lot of decks. If you get the deluxe box, you have even more cards to work with. If you get 2 of them, you got way even more. So, that is the game. This is our tag, Souls Battle, or go to soulsbattle.com to look at the website. We'll be on GameCrafter hopefully soon. So I welcome you guys. I thank you guys for taking the video. I'm sorry this took so long. I will try to cut it short next time. But Battle of Souls is going on sale. $19.99 for the single box. I think it's $29.99 or $24.99 for the deluxe box, which is actually a pretty good deal. Alright, you guys. We will see you on the battlefield. Prepare to battle. Thank you.